G'day, everybody, and welcome to episode 185 of the DayZ Podcast. Cobra, welcome, buddy.
How you doing?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Stud Muffin got to be excited with my post during the week there, mate, about you giving me a good spanking earlier late last week.
Just getting things back on track, mate. That's all.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Yeah, you got to treat me like a computer sometimes and punch the information into me. Something that Helkiata is very, very good at. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, I'm all right.
Good to see you back. 3 weeks. We haven't scared you off that bad.
No, I'm still good.
Awesome. But the man of the hour is the one, the only Mr. Dudditz TTV. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, mate. Good. It's a pet peeve of mine. I hate TTVs in names. I don't know why. It's just, everyone has those little things where you look at and you go, oh. Do you actually have that like in some games where that's your in-game name as well?
No, and I completely agree with you. I actually hated TTV as well. I just did it to get some more exposure to my channel at one point. It was originally Dudditz did it, and then somebody was like, man, that name's too complicated, so I just switched it to that.
I actually kind of like that Helkiata. Dudditz did it. That's got a bit of a ring to it to me. Yeah. Did he do it? Oh, you can't say that actually because he's in a lot of trouble. Diddy? Yeah, Diddy did do it. Diddy's a piece of shit. Good old P. Diddy. Fuck me. Crikey. Mate, you reached out to me a few weeks back, which was quite an honor that someone would actually reach out to me for advice, mate. So thank you very, very much for that. But I was really excited to get you on because our my co-host here, Cobra, is in a similar genre to you, where Cobra's really good at doing a lot of the shorts and that, but primarily, Cobra, you do long-form content. You like to tell a good story, don't you, with your videos?
Yeah, I mean, I'm more in the line of now about over an hour type stuff. So yeah. I've just checked out a couple of your videos, Dudditz, as well. I do like what you've done on your latest one. I think cinematics are nice. And this is what it's about today. You've got to be good at everything: the intro, the cinematics, the storytelling, and of course the action. And if you ain't good at any of that, you miss any of that. As you know, videos don't do well. You know the score. How have you found that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if I started it like 2 years ago, this channel, and I've progressively seen how you have to grab people's attention almost like immediately, and especially with long form content, like an hour in, if you're not grabbing them right away, they're out of there within, I don't know, a few minutes. So I carefully looked at all my and I carefully look at my past couple of videos. I'm not like tooting my own horn, but my last one is the best one I've done. The ones in between are like, you're seeing me improving. So I definitely see how you definitely need to you definitely need to start grabbing people's attention throughout, but especially at the beginning.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I mean, I'm 100% with you there. I mean, I just, for me, I've just had another video just about to hit the 100K mark, and that's that's quite nice. But it literally is the retention rates, even on the big boys, and girls. If you look at JLKs or the Nazar, he's just dropped one. If you actually look at if they're happy to share their retention rates with you, I know a few of them, and let's just say every single one of us has a drop off of something like 50 to 60% within the first 30 seconds. And that's just the way it is. If your intro is good, you're going to catch the extra 30, 40%, and maybe they stay to the end. You never know. But I think if you're hitting between 24 to about 30 minutes retention on average per video, it's going to keep going. So that's what you need to be aiming for, roughly.
Yeah.
One of the things, Cobra, that Dudditz was asking about, that I said to him was about, and I've noticed you do it, and you said JLK, South Suite's another one. Those guys have got regular people they play with, who they get to the point. You look at JLK's videos, you'll see those same names popping up there all the time. And that's quite important when you're doing that story sort of telling stuff. You've got some great people who are solos. Like I shared with Dudditz a guy by the name of Willem. He's a Rust streamer, Rust content creator. And he is an amazing storyteller. I don't know whether you got to watch that video, Dudditz.
I did.
It's a long video, wasn't it? Hour and 17 minutes, but it just flies along because he's so good at telling a narrative. But if that's not your forte, then that's one of JLK's strengths from all the videos I've watched of his. He's got a very similar style. He's a great narrator of a storyline. But it's not just so much being able to tell a story, it's being able to edit the story well. I'm going to have an example of that later with my individual shout out. I watched a video last night that blew me away how well it was done. But it's very important to build up that sort of team that you play with, isn't it, Cobra?
Well, I mean, you can look at it a couple of ways. I think if you look at Nazar, so he runs with Dexter and a few others quite a bit, things with Ali, Frankie Z, those type of people. Again, I know those people, and that's great. But don't forget, people like a bit of they like to mix it up. They want to see your different varieties from you. So, for instance, for myself, I mean, I do solo stuff. I have my PvP team if we're going to go and hit a modded server, a high pop modded server, and we do. I have a different team if we're going to go officials because it's a little bit slower. So, I mean, you've got to mix it up. I mean, if you look at Sour, for instance, Sour is very wholesome in what he does. You know, he doesn't like to shoot people first, and there's a big audience for that. He likes to interact and things like that. If you go to JLK, it's about the cinematic. He's the best. He's the best at what he does. The cinematic videos and with good storytelling, good storylines. You go to Running Man, it's all about the streaming, and he puts the VODs over on YouTube afterwards, edited. So, you've got all these different, and he sometimes goes solo. So for me, I think, you've got to mix it up a bit. It does get a bit boring sometimes if it's just the same thing all the time, because what are you going to produce in a video these days? You're going to have a base that you're going to build, or a hut, or a shelter, or dig sites. You're going to have to raid something, or you're going to interact and meet someone, or you're going to get into some PvP. It's always the same stuff, but it's different how you kind of tell that story with your different characters, and that's where the RP sometimes comes in quite nicely if you go and play with an RP server. So I think there's a lot you can do there. There's still a big market there.
What sort of servers have you been playing on mostly, Dudditz?
To testament to what both of you guys were just saying was originally my first. I had transferred over from console to PC in like the summer of 2022, and the original server I played on, I was like infatuated and like excited to get on those heavily modded servers that like JLK and Nazar played on, and you don't really see that on console. So the second I got on PC, that's what I was playing. And as I was playing that, I probably did my first 100 hours, and I made a movie with a buddy of mine. I think his screen name was like Step Bro, and that was my first ever YouTube movie. I had thrown up some shorts, but that was my first movie. Again, a little bit longer. It was about an hour and 5 minutes long or so. I forget. And that one garnered like a little over 3,000 views. I was new to it. I came to understand that the modded style, trader style of gameplay has a very big portion of the DayZ community. And then I got introduced to like the vanilla style servers of Day One and whatnot, Green Hell. And I abruptly switched over to that after making my first movies. And I've been playing that since. So I played Day One, Zero. Green Hell is a personal favorite of mine, but the movies have shifted, and now they're tailored more towards that style of gameplay, which is, as you guys know, they're a little bit different. Like Sour Sweets videos are a little bit different from JLK's and Nazar's and whatnot. So,
but that there is the market for you individually. I mean, there's a lot of different markets there. I mean, it may be the sound of your voice, it may be how you play, it may be because you're great at PvP, it may be because you're crap at PvP. There's a guy recently that I've been keeping an eye on. Had a chat with him a few times, Arc -K, and he puts in his title, Love playing DayZ, not very good, but come and enjoy it. And do you know what? He's done well. I think he's near 20k subs at the moment on YouTube. He's doing all right. His Twitch is jumping up. I think it's about 700-800 followers, and he's only been going about a year. So I think there's a lot of different areas to hit this, and obviously DayZ is the most popular it's ever been at the moment. So there's loads of new people coming in all the time. So lots to do, lots to get on with.
What about you, Helkiana? What's your thoughts on this?
Well, I don't really watch a lot of YouTube like that. Because you were saying about people like leaving. I'm the type of person that skips over the first minute. Like I start the video and then I click over just to get over the intro, just get over that, and just get right into it. Like I like videos that just get right into it, like because I generally watch informational videos rather than content videos.
Yeah.
So I usually just go right into it.
Yeah, I don't watch anywhere near as much content videos these days as I used to. Because it's hard, and it's that's one of the biggest challenges, Dudditz, with being a long form content creator. You're up against some titans.
Absolutely.
The names that Cobra mentioned. So you've got to try to make your mark and try to find something that's you can either emulate or imitate, or try to come up with something new and novel yourself, which is really, really challenging.
Yeah, actually, to what Helkiana just said, I had that in mind specifically with my last movie. I had that in mind that, hey, if I'm not grabbing these people's attention within the first minute or two, I'm not. It's going to be kind of hard to hold them on the rest of the movie, or even like, because if obviously you guys know, but some people aren't aware that the views don't mean as much as like your watch time hours, and there's a bunch of other portions that go in the algorithm. But when I was looking at making this last film that I made, the previous films I had a bunch of intros coming in, and I had some like edited by this and that. So I figured this first minute and a half, other than having the subscribe button, I'm gonna start throwing in some PvP, throwing in some interaction. And it seemed to go a lot better. Consider the feedback that I've gotten from this movie is a lot better than others, because usually I find if it didn't do well, nobody's going to say anything. Some people on the internet be like, man, this is trash. But most of the time, the people that that watch your movies just won't say anything because they just don't want to be mean a lot of times. But if it's good, I'll start getting a lot of likes. I'll start getting a lot of feedbacks. And by a lot, I mean relative to what I did before. So the one thing I try to do is compare myself to myself, because if I compare myself to somebody like Sour or Smoke or something like that, I'm just going to look down on myself. So as long as I see that I'm improving and, growing, I'm a lot happier. But to what Helkiana just said, yeah, I'm trying to grab people's attention as early as possible now, and it's helped me with my latest film.
Yeah, it's interesting all that, mate. It's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of things. I've done a lot of work the last year on the algorithm and what hits and what makes it hits. And as Marks is saying in chat, Marks has just basically said his gameplay always does well with watch time, but usually get low views. And this is the thing. I mean, it's with the fact that they keep changing the algorithm as well. Little things do change every few months, and I think for me, you've just got to keep up with the trends. You've got to keep informed. Always check out what's latest, what's new on in the YouTube world in terms of what's gonna help things along. And they've got all kinds of new stuff now. But don't forget, a lot of those big names you see at the moment, they did well throughout COVID because everyone was locked down. And you ain't gonna grab that type of massive hits. Like some of those big names did back then, because there wasn't those conditions now. So, I mean, for me, I think it's about if you enjoy it, and I still enjoy the editing side, and And if you're getting better and better, make sure you're informed, and make sure that you are watching those, those cinematic kind of move forward tutorials. There's always something new on Adobe Premiere Pro and things like that. As long as you're progressing forwards and investing your time in that, you're going to have a chance of growing and growing. And then it just comes down to consistency. So
what was your DayZ story, Dudditz? How did you end up starting to play this game?
Oh, I think I probably like briefly touched on it. I'm probably like average. I'm only 35 years old, so I feel like I'm in the middle age range for DayZ PC players. But I probably ran across an Arma video, I don't know, 2011 or 2012.
Yep,
and
the hype time.
Yeah, and I was like, man, this looks great. I moved out of my mom's house, and I was married to my ex-wife at the time, and I could not afford a PC. There's no way in hell I was able to do that. So I just watched the videos here and there. Arma morphed into, I wasn't paying that close attention, but I was seeing Arma morphed into DayZ, and that was all the hype around Call of Duty zombies, Nazi zombies it was in the early days. So I was like really into that. And 2018 is when I think it was 2018 when it came out on console. And I started playing it on PS4 and PS5. And I could recall this like it was yesterday, because to me it wasn't that long ago, but I would get into like a shootout with somebody and the game would crash. And that happened a lot, and maybe like 50% of the time. And it was just like, I love this game, but I can't keep doing this. But I did. I kept playing it, and I probably had like 400 hours on console, which for me was, okay. Then in the summer of 2022, as I said, that's when we were working a lot of overtime at my previous job. I had a lot of extra money, and I had somebody who was very big into PC gaming help me build a PC. And I told him, hey, I want to actually start. I like editing movies. I had edited my friends' like high school basketball videos in 2006, and I had done a few of those, and I enjoyed doing it. So I bought the PC, and within mind that I wanted to create a YouTube channel, and I started editing like within the days of purchasing it. I got a little bit used to mouse and keyboard on the my PS5, and then from there I think right now I'm a junior in DayZ. I have a total of 1,700 hours combined with the 400 I have on console. So from the whole goal was I want to edit movies. So in reality, no matter how good or bad my channel does, I'm still gonna put out content.
So who was your inspirations for becoming a content creator in this? Like, for a lot of us from around that era, Helkiana, Frankie on PC is, one of the big names. But another big one for me was Mr. Blackout, Helkiana. Did you ever watch him?
No, neither Frankie.
No, okay. Oh,
never watched Frankie, no.
You're just an
the only person from like is Septic Falcon.
Yes,
I remember because he did that one video about how to retexture clothes, and that's where he started. But yeah, I haven't really watched. Like I said, I don't watch YouTube.
See, I wanted to bring up the name Mr. Blackout though, because there's one thing, like with you guys who you were talking about your content and that and the long form. There's one thing maybe there is someone out there doing it, but something that I haven't seen in a long, long time around DayZ is a continued storyline. Now, for those who remember Mr. Blackout, he had his diaries and his hardcore series, which were his two big blow-ups that got him to being one of the biggest DayZ content creators in the 2014, 2015, 16 sort of era. But he had this really good way of, pretty much back then, all we had was official. And I think there was Doug may have started sometime around that time, but I think he did do a lot of his on DayZ Underground. But he was able to tie the different lives in to make it feel like you were watching this really long, protracted story. So that's another option for you, Dudditz, as well. If you like that storyline telling, rather than doing because it is a big battle, isn't it, Cobra, of whether you go for 1 hour plus, 2 hour movie marathons, or everyone sort of seems to feel that 10 to 20 minute mark is good for your average sort of video, maybe 30 minutes tops. So if you can break it up, or just work out a way, and that was Mr. Blackout's superpower. Dudditz was he could combine the lives to make it feel like you were watching just this one story of this lone creator moving across the map and having different adventures with the guys he used to run with and the people he bump into. Have you ever considered doing something like that?
Not to spoil anything, but my last movie is kind of going that route. So it's I take that into complete consideration. I think I've seen Sour do it a few times, and I know Frankie had a habit of doing it, but the only issue I had is actually the past couple of times he'd leave us on a cliffhanger, and then there was nothing after that. Because he'll go like on a hiatus for like a year. So it's not that I had a problem. I just wanted to see the next one. That's how good the little series he had. I think he had an Amal series as well that he had 3 episodes, and there definitely was supposed to be a 4th one, and he didn't put it out. So, but yeah, I 100% agree with that. That's what I'm trying to do now.
You've got to be careful with this, though, and I'll tell you the pitfall with doing this, all right? So not just myself, many others have done series. Now, if you're talking about the world's changed, what people watch has changed, how long they watch for has now changed, right? So if you look back at things with Ali in the last couple of weeks, he's released a 3-part series. We had him on it. We brought him on here the other week, and his videos were normally hitting anywhere between 50 to 80K, right?
Yeah.
Part 1 hits 20. Part 2 hits 5. Part 3 hits 6. And that's the problem with series. Now, I've been doing these over the last year and a half, and it's always the same. Part 1, you'll get 30,000, 20,000. Part 2, 20. Part 3, you're looking at 10. And this is the trend you're starting to see. So if you're talking about live streaming a story, that's a bit different, because your live supporters will probably always be there, and you'll probably generate more via the algorithms, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube. But I mean, more on the lives, like a couple of 100 to 1,000, whatever it may be. But if you're going to put out videos that are series, it is not doing well, and it hasn't been doing well for about a year and a half now. So I think what's happened with Mr. Blackout Diaries was great and popular at the time, but it's not the same anymore. It's an absolute nightmare. And you can go back and watch quite a lot of these that have done the series. A lot of creators have done these series, and it's always the same ending right now. So just be careful with that.
I'm actually going to agree with that.
Sorry, I'm just going to share a screen because I just brought up Mr. Blackout's diaries, which were absolutely insane. But exactly what you said, Cobra, is what happens. 107, 431,000. And then as you scroll down, it just slowly gets less and less views. A few, 106 there, but that's the hardcore series where he started the new series, so that regenerated the interest. And then all the way down, 44. It did trail off, but at the same time, if you look at this as well, interest in DayZ was dying off. Like if I click on that one, I'll just pause it.
When was that? When was that, Boydie?
That's 9 years ago, so that's 2015. Late
exactly. Yeah. Different story back then.
Yeah. DayZ had a very rocky start, didn't it, Helkiana?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I wasn't around when it was like before 1.0.
Oh, you would have heard the stories though, mate. No, it's a scam. Yeah. He took the money and climbed Mount Everest.
I heard some stuff like that, but
It is sad.
I think the new reputation has been taking over. So.
Oh yeah. You've only got to look at the Steam review. It went from basically mixed to a bad game to mostly positive now. I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, but then again, it's been record numbers playing DayZ now. So you know, everyone, even if you're dying every 2 minutes, every new player really is sitting there, you know, with the old DayZ vibe of what the bloody hell's this? How do I do this? How do I make a fire? You know, so you know, it's going to take a few goes, a few months of actually loving getting killed every 2 minutes to then go, do you know what? I better learn the game a little bit better. But no, going back to what we were saying, you know, I'd just be careful with that. As Mark's is saying in chat as well, I completely agree with what Mark has just said. It's exactly my experience, and that is people want to see the video, the start and the end these days. And if they're going to go long form, then it needs to be that story. If you split it up, which is what many of us have done, they don't want to hang around and wait for that next one right now. It's funny. If you've got a TV series, then everyone watches it. Different story. You know, but this is YouTube. This is YouTube. It's different.
Yeah, I think I definitely noticed that right away. But I guess it's not really a counterpoint to it. This is my first time doing it. So it's kind of like just, I guess I'll try it out and try to see if I can make, and it's not, I really wasn't going to go the route of doing like 8 or 10. It was just going to be like 2 to see how it works. But I noticed that I've noticed a drop off. I was paying attention to a few of their videos. The only one I may not see much of a drop off in terms of the like a sequential drop off on the series was probably Frankie on PC, but that's like an anomaly. Everyone else, even Sours, his episodic series that he does, it might be like 100,000 the first 2 videos and then drops off to like 30. So, but for me, it's just kind of like a trial.
Well, the thing is, you've got to try it. But you know, the worst one, I won't mention a name because we all know who this is, right? But they had, I think it was 900,000 views on part 1, dropped to 400,000 part 2, dropped to below 100K on part 3, and they said, you know what, I'm done. I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it anymore. You know, and don't forget that's like weeks and weeks of editing, weeks of work. You know,
it's a brutal game, and modding's a bit the same, Helkiana. You can put hours and hours and hours into something, and it just doesn't catch people's eye.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen there was a map maker, and he was really disappointed when he made his map and it didn't take off at all, even though like so many other maps, you know, everyone just jumps on every new map. It's difficult. Like, you gotta know your audience, what you're actually aiming for. And I think that this kind of applies with just about everything, really, right? Even when people release a new game, right? You gotta know who you're aiming for with this game, with this video, with this stream, you know, with this. You can only satisfy a small portion as well. Like, you can't try to satisfy everyone, because when you do stretch, then that's when you start losing.
And you've got to love what you're doing as well. If you do, some people can do content just for the sake of it, to farm. We see that in other genres of more drama related content, where people will just do stuff that their heart might not be in. But if you really want to be successful, I do believe that if you're doing what you love, and you're constantly looking for ways to improve yourself, like, take the podcast for example. We're growing in our audience size. We've got 5,800 subscribers now on YouTube. We're small by a lot of standards, but I love what I do with this. Even though I have my ups and downs, we all have that in everything in life. But we're constantly looking for ways to improve. We've got this new fancy dancy all singing, all dancing studio labs that we use. So we're constantly looking at ways to improve what we do and get better. And if you apply that to your craft, you'll only keep on growing, mate. DayZ is this zombie game that just won't frickin' die.
No, 100%. I mean, that's probably the reason I just keep doing it. I enjoy playing the game, and it is, I will admit, it is good to take breaks. I had to take an unintended break for work for about 4 to 6 months, and then I come back and my channel really wasn't hurt because it wasn't even that big in the first place. But it's a game that allows, as you know, allows you to escape reality for a while, whether you're playing for 6, 8, 10 hours. But I thoroughly enjoy it. It's still a challenge. Don't get me wrong. It's still a challenge to editing. And I have a wife and a child, plus I work a full-time job. That editing takes me away from them the more I do it. So it's kind of it's still a challenge, and sometimes it leaves a gap between movies. So luckily, you guys have been around long enough to know that YouTube did not always have shorts, and that's kind of like that bridge that I have between movies that kind of keeps my channel afloat. So it's still challenging, but it's fun.
YouTube's a cruel beast when you take a break as well. If you don't keep on pumping them out in the algorithm, and you can just drop off the relevancy factor very, very quickly. Yeah,
definitely.
But you're right with that as well. It's so important. It is so important to refocus, take a break, take a minute. Again, we've all been there, and I don't think really it does affect you as long as you're not taking a year out. It doesn't affect you too much, because once you've got your audience, they're still going to be there because they enjoy your content. Otherwise, they wouldn't subscribe in the first place. So it's the margins of 50-50 whether or not they've subscribed to you. Those are the ones you may lose. But generally, people are there because they want to. They've subscribed to you because they want to see what you've got to do. And if remember Mr. Moon, he spent what did he do? One video every 6 months or 8 months or something. He's still got hundreds of thousands of views, mate. So.
Yep, and he still has he streams infrequently, but a bit more frequently of late, and he still has a massive audience because he's a personality himself, which is something he was able to capitalize on. God, I loved his interview. When I've done a spotlight on Mr. Moon. If you're interested in the guy, go back and watch it. I asked him the question that everyone wondered: did he stream stalk /snipe Syndicate? And he left it open. So much respect for him for doing that. I was like, no, or maybe I did. It was just again, a lot of the content he was making. He's made Chow. Probably wouldn't wash in today's YouTube environment. Helkiana.
No,
Chow, if you didn't know, was I think he was a Scandinavian guy, but he talked like an Asian. So they'd probably get cancelled very, very quickly if they tried that gimmick these days. But it worked. It was so funny. Some of their interactions were just comedy gold. I miss Mr. Moon's videos. I really do. And he's just a nice guy as well.
Next level fucking editing, mate. Next level editing, some of that stuff. It was
Training Day's a good one, where he was training for the Survivor Games.
Well, I'll tell you what, the ones that always stick with me was the Bliskin brothers. I was like, that back in the shitty DayZ, you kill someone, the body would slide down a hill for half an hour. But it was so good how he's done it. It was funny.
Absolutely. So what do you got planned for the future, Dudditz?
Well, as of now, other than the second part to my last film, I've moved on to actually having not moved on, but since I've came back from that hiatus, which was somewhere last fall, I started to have an actual schedule of streaming once during the week, whatever day that may be, and then streaming Friday night and then Saturday morning or evening. So I'm trying to be a little bit better at the Twitch thing. I mean, to me, it's secondary compared to my YouTube channel. So I'm going to see if I can do highlight videos. I'm not really a fan of that.
YouTube, dump Twitch, come to YouTube.
I've 100%. There's a voice in my ear right now, so I'm gonna regurgitate what it just said. But yeah, I've 100% thought about just.
If you've got any
Twitch.
questions on that, hit up Cobra, hit up Marks. They've got a lot of good insight on it. But it's got to be something that you want to do, and you've got to be considerate of your audience on Twitch. It's some people just don't like. Helkiana, what do you like watching? I know you stream on Twitch, but what are your thoughts on that? Twitch or YouTube for streaming?
I think why not both? I mean, the multi-streaming
Yeah, I was
is
just gonna say that.
illegal now. If you can't do it, that's okay. I tried to do it a little bit, but YouTube has a more strict music policy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they ended my stream like midway because I was streaming something that I know is copyright, but like if it's not set in YouTube, that you can't, like, it's copyright free, but YouTube said, no, I don't have the rights to it, kind of thing, and it did terminate my music, my stream like midway, because I was trying to do the modding streams to be on YouTube so they can get saved. So I just kind of gave up after that. But
And I have heard as well that streaming as well as doing videos on YouTube, Helkiana, can affect your performance. I've seen a lot of people talk about that.
Performance, like
as in views, money, and all the rest of it,
yeah.
And can make it harder for them to get traction. And yeah, I don't worry about that too much myself, but for those who are trying to do this for a living, it's a big concern for them, Helkiana.
Yeah, definitely. The whole DMCA, honestly, like, it ruined a lot of things with the music, on streams and stuff like that. But I think, like, if you do just stream gameplay, most of the time you won't be listening to music because you need to hear stuff. So, why not just do both? And then if you do have time to edit some bits of those streams, like the good moments, and just do shorts and TikTok stuff like that, it definitely does help. I know I've seen it, like, because I don't watch long form. I do like to see on Twitter as well, like some small clips of like this funny moment, this good shot, like I do go and like give likes and retweets and stuff like that on Twitter. So definitely there as well. It's just, it is a lot of work, right? Like, if you have like a family like Dudditz has it, like, I can't imagine how to manage all that. I'm single. I have no responsibility other than my cat. So I can do long hours, but I still don't have enough time to even consider editing videos to put on YouTube.
I would say that I'm very, very, very lucky that my wife puts up with that shit, because I know
a good woman in your life.
Yeah, they won't put up with it. So I'm very lucky, because I'm 100% sure she's listening right now, and my daughter's probably listening with her as well. But I'm not saying it because of that. She watches my movies after I'm done. She helps me sometimes the editing, but the biggest, and she's also a mod in one of my chats for me. But like, yeah, if you're single, it's easy. If you're not, you have to have somebody who's like, okay, I'm fine with you spending 8, 10, 12 hours sitting in an office when you just came home from work. So
yeah, and you know what, just quickly touching on the multi-streaming. So yeah, this is something I do as well. The only problem there is that YouTube, you can quite comfortably stream at 1440 plus. Twitch, you're not going to get that. So when you're multi-streaming, you're going to get one stream that looks half decent, and the other stream is not going to be of the same quality that it's used to. So just be careful of that.
For me, it seems to be the Twitch tends to look better than the YouTube. And I only started dual streaming like last fall, but my computer can handle it, my internet can handle it. And while I'm deciding, I figured, let me just stream both. But I noticed Twitch is more user friendly, obviously, for streaming, because that's the expertise. But YouTube is like, it's kind of secondary. So, but I have like average friends that were like, hey, I heard you play DayZ. They're not really into DayZ, but they want to watch. They don't have Twitch, so they'll hop in on YouTube and watch you, it's very easy for somebody who's like, hey, I could watch this for a little bit and turn it off or whatever. But in the meantime, I'm probably going to just stream to both.
No, it's a good thing, but also there's one more little pitfall there, and I found this out through a bit of experience as well. The YouTube and the Twitch community are two different communities, so trying to get them to switch over. So I always try and get all my YouTube members. Or,
YouTube's slightly more distinguished and cultured.
I'll tell you what, it's a nightmare, mate. I say to them, I go, we hate Twitch, so we ain't going to follow you to Twitch, but we'll stay on YouTube. And the Twitch streamers, I get more conversion from Twitch to YouTube than I ever do from YouTube to Twitch. So
Yeah.
I do have a question though for anybody who can answer this one. Like the idea of you streaming, and I've been testing it out, but I haven't been around long enough. The idea of you streaming around the same time you drop a movie or vice versa. Is there any actual confirmation? Yeah, I don't know if there's a confirmation. I've just been dancing around it. Like I won't stream within a week or two of dropping a movie, and I have no idea.
That's
what I mean. I don't know if it actually affects the views or the algorithm. I'm so lost on that one.
I would actually like to know if anyone's ever experimented with the premieres and then gone straight into a stream or finished a stream and done a premiere and watched it live with the been in there with the audience. Like I know when I did the Dean Hall interview, I did that as a premiere, but I didn't do a stream before or after it. I just watched it live with people. But what are people's thoughts on the premieres associated with streaming?
So let me give you some facts on the first question before we get to that, right? So if you're going to live stream just before or just after, I'm talking within 24 hours to 48 hours of dropping a video, I can give you some real data on that, all right? So 2 videos I put out while streaming the day before, the day between, and the day after, I was on 15 to 20,000, 25,000 hits, right? I'd spent a week without streaming, put out a video, I won 102,000 hits. So straight away, if YouTube right now is not pushing out the streams, and a lot of people are now removing their stream content from YouTube. They'll do a live, then they'll put it to members only or delete it, that because of the fact that it interferes with pushing out your videos. So YouTube, that's the situation. Be very careful with that. And on the premiere, so I tried this premiere out, and again, it wasn't pushing it out to all my subscribers who were notified. So only a few of them got the notification, and I was getting people messaging me saying, we didn't know you was live. You only found out you were live because we've checked the live feeds rather than, or the Twitter announcements I put out or whatever, rather than the fact that they were notified, but they weren't getting the notifications. So again, you've got to experiment to understand it. I mean, and I've gone through this for the last 2 years, so that's how I understand all of this. And if you look at a lot of the streamers nowadays, that is why the Running Man will stream on Twitch and record, and then drop a VOD on YouTube after of the same stream but edited. Because
is he multi-streaming now?
He has been as well. So did Sour, and Sour did it quite a bit as well. But you will find that they will be going back, and if they're not, Sour definitely is. I know he stopped multi-streaming recently as well. I know he will do multi-streams, but there is a real drop-off with this thing. It's dangerous. You've got to be careful with it.
I think Cobra, I did see you. Maybe it was like a few months ago. You posted something about that, and that's when. Yeah, I think it was on YouTube. I saw you post this, so that's when I started paying. It might have been a few months ago, but I started paying attention to it after that, and I was like, and then I saw after you said that, I saw a bunch of other streamers complaining about that. So that's when I started noticing it.
I was having a chat with Things with Ali about it the other day, and a few others content creators. Yeah, and we're all doing the same. Beans is doing the same. Beans has removed all of her live content. She's not the only one. There are lots of us doing it now because it will affect your video.
What Marx is saying there, is that what you do?
Let me catch up with Marx. He's put 2 hours now. I usually stream around the same time, so I update video, but I always wait an hour or 2 to make sure the video is all working and good, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, for Marx, it's clearly operating okay. However, for me and many others, it's not at all. It massively, dramatically affects the views on the VODs for me. But it all depends. Don't forget, a lot of Marx's videos, you're hitting about 8 minutes to maybe 20-minute videos. If the longer form content, it hurts big time. Yeah, and as he's saying there, put them in a playlist so people can still watch if they want to. Yeah. That there. If you put them in a playlist, that may be the difference.
And do a community post and just tell people, hey, if you want to catch up on my VODs, here's the link to and share it on Twitter or whatever, or wherever else you share that stuff. Have it in your Discord if you've got a decent community popping there. But yeah, lots of options there for you, Dudditz.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that too. I think what I started doing was I made them just private and just figured out what I was going to do after that. But the thing I did most recently was my in-laws were in town for about 2 weeks, so I didn't have access to my room where my computer was at because they were staying in there. And I just used that as like a short little 2-week break, and I dropped my movie in between that. And then I came back to live streaming to YouTube and Twitch after that. And I mean, for me, the movie did decent. No, it did pretty well for me. Maybe I'll keep doing that, but the bare minimum, I'm probably just gonna, make them unlisted or private, so I can at least have the VODs.
Yeah. It all depends what matters to you most, doesn't it? I mean, if you spend most of your time editing the VODs, for me, it's quite simple. The streams, we have our fan base there, our supporters there, which is great. For the shorts, I put them out. It's not a big thing for me. I put them out as often as possible. But for me, it's all about the VODs. So I'm never going to do anything that messes with the VODs.
Yeah.
Now, I saw something interesting during the week. Thank you, Dr. Desync, for sharing this. And Helkiana, time for you to put your smart girl brain on.
Okay. It's always on.
I'll have a couple of tickets to Prague, mate. You've got enough tickets. Oh, hang about that was poor form. She's got tickets on herself. But here we go. Have you guys seen this?
Oh yeah, I saw this.
This is mental.
Why is it lagging?
That'll be because of the stream. Where every time Boydie tries to play something on the stream.
Yeah, dropped it back to 720. Hopefully that works smoother now.
Yeah, it's better.
I've got the audio off because there was music playing. But, okay, so this was the simulation side of it. But what does that mean for DayZ, Armour? Because I'm guessing that just won't be only in the military side of things. It'll also be something that they could potentially port across.
I don't know. Because
it looked damn good though, didn't it? Yeah, because I'm just thinking zombie hordes. That's or infected hordes, because that's something that everyone's wished for in DayZ.
That is a bit of a horde there, mate. That's like a bloody. I don't know.
I think it's a bit different. Depends on there's like a lot of animations take a lot of power. Having a lot of them doing the different animations is what usually takes from the performance, and then it starts lagging, and then your frames also start dropping as well. Besides just the poly count in one area, as you could see there, they were extremely low poly. That's it's so it does matter. I don't think that's coming to DayZ or DayZ 2, but I mean I do expect to see a bit better performance in DayZ 2 whenever that comes out in 10 years,
And also on another note, we should probably mention as well, was it BAE just bought Bohemia Interactive Simulations, so that was interesting as well. Finalised the sale, $200 million, so I thought it would have been worth more because from what I understand, Cobra, they're one of the leading people for those simulator trainings for the military.
Yeah, do you know what? I think you're right there. I don't know the exact on it, but I think you're right. Yeah, I think they are one. I think they are third leading. I think something like that. But
I know BAE does a lot in that space as well, so
yeah,
it's kind of logical that they'll acquire. But yeah, congratulations, I guess, to Bohemia, the people. They made a nice little earner there. But yeah, I did have to give credit to Dinos, though. Helkiana, did you see his tweet?
No.
He because that was where I saw it. He'd replied to it, and he said they do understand that the armor modders don't come with the purchase of BIS. But I mean, like, just to put it in perspective for people, even if you don't play armor, even the old armor 3, the footage from that stuff is so good that they've managed to con some serious news agencies into believing that in-game footage is actually footage from Iraq and Afghanistan and Ukraine, and it blows my mind every time. But that's how good even Armor 3 is. And what's that 2015 game? If off the top of my head, I think about 2015.
I mean, it's very easy to make some game footage like believable because you take down the bitrate, you make some stuff like a bit more pixely, but you add some blur here and there. It hides the obvious giveaways, and then people watch like all of these on phones, right? Most of the time, people use Twitter. They use them on their phones, and they see these small videos, and they're like, "Oh my god, this is like." What's happening out there kind of thing, so it's very easy to trick people. And I mean, AI has been evolving, and it's kind of scary what they're going to do with misinformation if people believed even like footage from a game.
Well, the other big news that we've got to talk about, Dudditz, did you see the announcement for the stream they're doing on Wednesday?
Yeah, I will probably get in trouble at work for watching it while at work, but yeah. I definitely saw it.
That sneaky little screenshot with the barrel and the sights of a potential new sniper rifle.
Yeah, I saw people pointing out what it was. I'm not like, I know a little bit about guns, but people are like already picking that apart immediately. I forgot what they said exactly what it was.
SV98. Marks will let us know in chat.
Yeah, it was the SV98. Yeah.
I've never heard of it. I've never heard of
it. 76254, and I think there's a crossover for 308 in it. So it's not the 338. So the Puna. So I thought that may be making an appearance, but no.
I've got Marx's video up in the background for those who haven't seen it. Don't worry, it was paused. But that's what had everyone in a tizzy, no pun intended. But the sights, they're quite unique. You don't see a lot of rifles with that sort of round barrier around the four-post. So, yeah. And then, there's that little bit of green. I did see you pointed that out, Mark, someone in your group, which also ties it into that SV98 rifle.
That could be a finger.
There you go.
Because if it depends on how you hold the gun, like if it's stuff far off,
Especially if you desynced as well.
But if you want to find out more about it, I'll put a link to Marx's video in the chat. Because it's a new sniper. I don't know know much about.
Just because like they need a little bit of content now. This is the second update of the year, and we didn't get much right in the first one, and they need something to keep people going until the big update. Right, so they might add. I'm suspecting maybe some new animals, because they were saying something about improving environment and all that. So maybe some new animal would be cool to see. And the new gun that will keep people going a little bit until the big one.
Gary, how old are you? You don't see people write that in a YouTube chat too often.
That's at the M21 the scope.
I had in Vietnam.
Yeah. Gary is 70. Here you go, 77.
Damn, bro. Respect.
Wow.
Respect.
So,
I love meeting old gamers. Paris Red was one of my favorite guests that I've had on as well. Thank you for your service, mate. Vietnam, fuck, man. I've got to get into a Discord channel and just have a chat with you and just hear your experiences, mate. If you were a sniper as well,
go and have a look.
One of my favorite books as a young kid was the story about Carlos Hathcock. Absolutely unbelievable man. If you've never heard of him, I highly recommend you look into him. Gary might have even met him, but he just an amazing story. You've got me off on a fucking tangent here. I'm turning into a military moron. Scale Speed, are you still here? Did I tell you I served in Somalia? There you go. There's your bingo card, buddy.
There you go.
But yeah. Wow, that's insane. I would love to hear more, Gary. I really would. That would be amazing.
If you want to go and see, so Gary's in my Discord, and he's dropped a load of old photos from Vietnam in my Discord. So if you want to go and see it,
I would love to. I would love to
go and take a look at the. I think we put it under clips or something like that. It was either that or general. Gary would tell us. But yeah, he's got some interesting photos there with some sniper rifles that he's used in the past. So yeah, very good.
That'd be awesome. That would be. Okay. We're going quite well. I wanted to discuss a topic, and this is one based on feedback on last week's episode where we had Roth on. And Helk, remember we were talking about console primarily. One bloke left a comment on the video, and he said, one of the big issues that he has is the fact that they don't wipe often enough. And I've mentioned it before. I've been watching a bit of Rust content, and it seems to me it's a culture thing. In Rust, they wipe all the time. It seems like every other week they're wiping a server.
Or some servers they wipe every 2 weeks on Rust, which I hate. I absolutely hate. Like, I'm not gonna play, and like the thing is, because like the game developers in Rust, they force a wipe monthly. Like, it's not something that the private servers can choose, and that's what really takes me off with Rust as well. Like, as a PvE player, I like to play 2-3 months on a server without wiping my progress. I absolutely hate that. I was actually, I thought you were going to say that people are saying that they're wiping too often, because that's what I generally see on Twitter.
Because he said it has been, because I actually said to him, it's interesting you say lack of wipes. Every time I see DayZ say they are wiping official, people lose their minds on Twitter, especially Dudditz. He said he thinks it's been close to 8 months since the last full wipe, characters included. Is that right? I don't know off the top of my head, but he followed that up. I've shared the comment in chat there that the rest of what he said. But he later in the conversation I was having with him, that people are only crying because they are losing all their gear. If it was regular and updated, we wouldn't have the people crying. But DayZ players, I generally feel they get very attached to their character. I don't think it would work, but 8 months seems like a long time, Dudditz. What do you think?
I mean, coming from console, I was mostly on a community server, so console's a lot buggier, I guess. Especially when I got off. So I know I'm not as familiar with the software or the programming or any of that. I just know the wipes help to clear things up. 8 months does sound pretty long. I barely played on official, so I don't know what it was for console when I played. It seems like I don't know what we have on. What is it? Every 3 to 4 months on PC or something like that.
Oh, it's changed, mate. Yeah, it's not the same. So on officials on PC, I think it's the same for consoles as well. Well, similar to consoles, especially on official. There hasn't been the character wipe yet, has there? There's been the map wipe. But ultimately, the Rust thing, isn't that something to do with the fact that some servers on Rust, you can have like 200-300 players on them. So
1,000. You
well,
can have
there you go.
1,000.
So if you imagine, right, a Rust, they're not quite the maps on. There's so many of them, but anyway, if you imagine there's one server that has like, I don't know, 500 players on it, surely you've got to wipe it. Surely, because the amount of items and bases and everything going on, you know, there's how is that going to perform? I don't know. You tell me. Those that play Rust, I've only played a couple of times. But if you convert that to DayZ, where you've got 60 slot on official servers, they wipe them because obviously, you know, a lot bases are always raided anyway, aren't they? On the official servers within 24 hours, pretty much. But ultimately, you know, you're going to get away with that. Not all the servers on official are full pop. Some of them are half or not even, you know, barely at 10. So that's why they took away a load of the servers on officials a few years ago. But now with the player base changing, more players than ever playing the game, you know, there is a lot of the servers that are a lot more populated now. I think you'll find the Rust situation is because there's so many players on so many, you know, you can have so many players on a particular server.
Also, I believe that on Rust, there's no expiry for your buildings, like for your bases.
Right.
So I think like once they're there, they'll just sit there, unless someone breaks into them.
Oh, they've got the toolbox thing with the decay that they have to keep their base maintained. So, which I always thought was quite a fascinating mechanic, as a good way of, you know, if someone does go inactive.
If you can put like loads of mats in there, you know, in the box, then it's just basically the same thing. It's just infinite time. Whereas DayZ, it does have like by default 45 days for base decay. So 45 days is pretty long, you know, it's a month and a half. So if you think about it, like 8 months is still pretty a normal amount for DayZ. I don't think it's crazy, you know, because things do decay, they get moved from like player to player. They have also this thing where, you know, they try to encourage people to raid and go for bases and find them, and it's a different type of gameplay, I guess.
Oh yeah. I actually bought the game Helkiana and thought I'm going to give it a shot, and I jumped in and I quickly realised, nah,
not for me. No, not for me either.
I like my slower paced DayZ. That game, you know, the guys I watch, Willem, and there's another guy, Alone in Tokyo. I watch Stimpy, but Stimpy I watch more for the story. But I watch those two, and the speed that they build at, my God, it's Fortnite levels of construction. I used to watch the people playing Fortnite, and they're building, and they're, you know, there's stuff popping up everywhere, and I'm like, how do you do that? You know, like, what the hell? How do you get?
They do have experience, right? Like, they didn't start that way. They needed to learn, and like all the tricks and inside knowledge.
Mate, I've been playing DayZ for 10 years and I still suck at it. I'm not going to get that good.
I mean, yeah.
You didn't have to agree with me.
I don't want to play Fortnite because of the building. I'm like, I can't keep up with the kids, man. Like the way they just like flip around with the mouse, and like they build like a fucking castle in like 10 seconds straight. Like I barely put the wall down then, and I'm like, nah, I just can't do that. Give me just point and shoot. That's all I need.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, what else have we got? Now, I am doing an event for you in the EU. I'm sorry, but you guys get enough fucking good events, so you can suck it up on this one. But for the Aussies and the Kiwis, and possibly even the Yanks, Dudditz, you can have a look at it as well if you want, mate. I am doing a manhunt event. I've got the event up in the podcast Discord. It is going to be this weekend. This is Australian Eastern Standard Time at 8 p.m. Myself, brilliant. There we go. Vigilante Gamer, Murray, mate, a mate of mine, Rue, a guy by the name of Savas, who's in the US as well. He's a big fan of Vigilante Gamer, and a few others that I'm just waiting on their logos and that to come through. but we're going to be doing a Stream Sniper Manhunt event. Vigilante Gamer, I know right now Skullspeeder's ticking that one off of his bingo card, but he's one of the and Cobra, I've introduced you to Vidge as well. He's one of the most tactically sound. He's a beast. He's just got one of those ways of, I said to the guy, I'm certain you've all heard this before, but I said to him, if he'd been my platoon commander when I was in the army, I would have followed him to the gates of fucking hell, even armed only with a spoon. He's just a man who instills confidence, and I'm really looking forward to doing this one with him for two reasons. One, he's a mate of mine, and I've got a lot of respect for him, but two, I'm throwing him in the deep end. We're going to be doing it on Bitterroot, the Aussie Kiwi Bitterroot server, and he's never played it. So it's really going to test him, isn't it, Cobra? Ooh. That's going to really test his tactical nous.
Well, he's going to have lots of heals, isn't he, on Bitterroot? So he's a sniper as well, isn't he? So, yeah, that'll be interesting.
It's going to be fun. And we're also going to be doing some prize money. That's just, I like to do nice things because why not? There's so much hate in the world at the moment, as we saw in the shopping centre here in Australia recently. My condolences to everyone affected by that. But what's going to be the deal is there's going to be up to 7 or 8 bodyguards. So he's going to have a team with him, but that's going to have its own problems because we're going to be a big group. So easy to find. There's going to be people streaming, myself included. So you will get $50 if you kill Vigilante Gamer. For each of the bodyguards, it's $20, and that's US dollars. But if you can capture Vigilante Gamer alive, so basically wound him or force him to surrender, and he is a thinking man's gamer. He values his character's life. He doesn't like throwing away his character. So if you can convince him, basically take out all the bodyguards and get him in a situation where he's got no choice but to surrender, you could win $100 US. All you need is a valid PayPal, and just don't be a person with a really bad history, because we will have admins monitoring the server, and anyone who's questionable, new accounts and too many bans and things like that, sorry, you won't be welcome to play. But I'm really, really excited for this one, folks. I haven't done one of these in a long time. And it's a simple, easy event, folks, that you can do yourself, that just, makes for a bit of fun. Hopefully Diddy, another big Australian streamer, will be able to make it, but his wife is heavily pregnant, so his availability hasn't been confirmed yet. But we've got Cinnamon, myself, Rue, Prestige, Savas, Murray Mate. So I'm really excited for this, and I want to see as many people as possible. Get on now. You need to start gearing up for it. Our team, of course, will have gear provided. They've already got a lot of gear stashed away as well. But everyone else has to jump in and I will, Gary. I'll be streaming it on my channel, but I'll probably die quick because I'm shit. But the ones that I'd probably be watching would be Sinner. Savas apparently is a bit of a beast.
Yes, absolute beast. I can 100% attest to that one. He's the first name I noticed on there.
Yep. And Rue is won't be streaming, but Rue is a semi-professional PUBG player. He made like tryouts for one of the Australian divisions to go play at a PUBG tournament in Korea or something. So he's a beast as well. Prestige is also a good player. So it's a mix of plebs, a solid tactician, and a few PvP gods. So it's not going to be easy, folks. It's not going to be easy. But I just want to get people on and have fun. Just to, as much as I like the card ready Skull Speeder, the cock and ball torture of DayZ, sometimes I do like to get on and turn into shark eyes and have a bit of fun trying to shoot someone. But yeah, no, I'm excited for this one. So all you got to do is gear up, get yourself ready, get yourself somewhere on the server. It goes for 2 hours. You'll have 2 hours to hunt him down, and yeah. And in the background, you can also see this is the artwork that my man Connor does. If you're looking for a logo, artwork, anything, hit him up. He's good, he's quick, and he's the fucking one of the cheapest out there, folks. You can't go wrong with this boy. He's one of the best things that's happened to me since finding my missus and getting my son. Yeah. But no, really, really excited for this. And should I stream it on the 87.8 channel or on my own?
Yeah,
I reckon maybe on the 87.8 channel. What do you reckon, folks? Let me know.
Where did you post the details of like the server? Because you said like people to join and gear up.
It's just in the discord.gg/87.8 Survivor FM. And in the events up the top is all the details. And as I get more stuff worked out, it'll be in there. You can have a team of any size. They bump the server up to 80. It's up to you, but you're also going to be fighting against everyone else. It's up to you whether you want to team up with someone you meet in game or take them out because they might be about to steal your bounty that you've earned. So, I love doing things like that where there's a bit of chaos in there. At the end of the day, the target and the bodyguards are really going to have the easiest time because we just shoot everyone who's not one of us, whereas the other guys are going to be a little bit less. It's going to be fun. Be a lot of fun. Anyone's welcome to come along. Okay, what else have we got? We are now down to our co-host spotlights. Cobra, who's your creator showcase for this week, mate?
Well, this is someone I thought deserved a bit of light. Many of you would have known him before. He's been around for a number of years. Frankie Z. I've put the link over to you earlier, Boydie. So Frankie is a friend of Things of Valley. They do quite a few videos together. And he recently put out his latest video, which is quite funny, actually. It's titled "I Built a Secret Armory in DayZ," but basically what he's done, he's gone on a very full server, and he's built in the middle of the bloody map in an open field in between VMC and Northwest Airfield, and he's tried to get his base put down with gunshots all around him.
Oh, good Lord!
All kinds of stuff going on. It's actually quite interesting. So he manages to do it, and there's all kinds of grief from helicopters flying over him, bloody giving him grief. There's all kinds of bases nearby. I think the nearest big clan base is about 600 meters away from his base. So he's got quite a lot going on there. It's quite funny, actually. I enjoyed the video. So for me this week, Frankie Z comes in as the content creator spotlight. He's one I've not put up for a long time, I don't think. So far the video is doing well. It's on about 15k at the moment. It's been out just over a week and a half, and he's done well. So for me, well done, Frankie Z. And carry on with the great work, mate. For anyone that wants to go and check his stuff out, if you're not already subscribed over there, go and take a little look, slap him a little subscribe, and go and enjoy some different content.
Again, good thumbnails.
Yeah, they're different, very different thumbnails as well. They're not the normal, typical ones you would kind of see or go for, but they're interesting.
And what about you, Helkiana? What's your mod or game spotlight this week?
Well, actually, I was playing a new extraction shooter game today, which I actually really enjoyed. It's called Incursion Red River. I'll post a link in the chats to the Steam page. It's only like £11. It is co-op only. So it's not like Tarkov, massive scale of online multiplayer. You can play alone. So a lot of people call this like if Tarkov was a PvE game only, But obviously it does have like a long way to go to catch up to Tarkov and the likes. It is very early. It only has one map, but it's a very, very good foundation. And we've been playing for about 4 hours, and we've been saying, like 3 hours gone by, I didn't even realize where time gone, and that's when you know that you're actually having fun. Even we had some issues here and there with the co-op part. It definitely does work a lot better as single player. But I've really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to see, what updates they bring, what more content they bring to it.
Grab a case and go from there.
I've not seen this.
The boys going to the front door.
Are you
It
gonna
was
go to
called
the front?
Project Quarantine, I
around?
believe, something like that before, and then they changed the name.
looks
when They
awesome.
released it in early access.
Oh, looks good.
I believe it's based in Vietnam, the gameplay.
Guys,
Got one.
Gary, I like that.
At the entrance.
Probably been here.
So it has the Tarkov kind of like inventory. You have your like hideout where you buy stuff from the traders, sell stuff to the traders, and your stash.
There's another one.
And there's like AI, which you can control the difficulty yourself.
All right.
Like you can put them on lower, higher, depending on what kind of challenge you want from game to game.
I'll take
So is this a first person, third person, or both?
First person only. When you do spectate, like say you died and your teammates are still in there, you can spectate them in third person.
Like Call of Duty
but-
type stuff.
Yeah, it's all first person.
Why
played
have we
the-
not seen any laser dots in DayZ, Helkiana?
I think someone actually made some in the mod. There are some in mods, but not like in the game, I guess.
I don't think I've ever been on a server with them. Not that I play a lot of different
it's
servers,
one of those
but
more complicated things. I'm pretty sure Rearmed has them. The bigger servers that have their own devs kind of thing, they will have them.
Interesting game. Interesting game. I'd
Yeah,
like to
I
say
had a
I've
lot
not,
of
I've not
fun.
seen it.
I'm definitely gonna play a bit more another day. Maybe a bit more solo.
Is it just new out? Because I've not even heard of it.
Yeah, I think it only just came out on 10th of April, so 4 days ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
In
makes
early
sense.
access. Yeah, but I've
just
been watching
reminded
it
me-
for a while.
you just reminded me something you said then in the chat about the inventory. Again, Dab making a post on Twitter that I didn't quite understand. And, thankfully I have you, Helkiana. What does he mean by this?
To be honest, I wasn't really understanding why he posted those pictures with the because like that doesn't show anything about smoothing. But I don't know.
Is he showing
think-
what he's using? Oh,
Well,
yeah,
he's showing that he added a setting in your tab, like in your game settings, that you can turn down the mouse smoothing, which
Sorry,
it's supposed to give you more
Helkiana,
control.
I know you're new here, but you need to
Yep.
explain things to me like I'm a retarded 2-year-old, which I am. What do you mean by mouse moving?
So it's basically kind of like the reaction of the mouse movement, when you aim. They sometimes add like, it's very hard to explain it.
Like
they
sensitivity
add,
and
like,
stuff.
Yeah, they add like this smoothing from like A to B, right? And sometimes that means it's slowed down a little bit, I guess.
Because I've literally only
I'm
just
not too
started playing
sure,
with
but, like-
DPI. So what? So now I've got to worry about mouse moving as well? What the hell?
That's only if you change the settings, mate.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
wanna
you,
change the
normally
settings, I
you
just
don't
wanna
need to
play.
worry about it. Like, it's honestly, most people shouldn't even give a shit about it. Because the only people that would care about is professionals in esports in games like Valorant and Counter-Strike and all that. It's for precision aiming. Like when you need like that half a pixel aiming to be precise. It's not something you would benefit from, I would say.
There you go.
Last topic I want to cover. Did everyone see the DayZ Wiki quiz question this week?
No, I've not seen it, mate.
No.
Oh, you need to be getting in there. Lazian does a good job finding these for me. Give me 1 sec. Let me just find it.
I hope this one's just as hard as the pub one we had the other week.
I didn't find this one as hard, but let's go to the webpage because it always looks better on here. Straight away, you'll actually you get to see the answer on this one. But I like these. I just love doing it because it's a great reminder that the DayZ Wiki does exist. So this was last week's question. What is the abandoned radio station that can be visited in South Zagoria named? 76% of the people got it right. With the Zenith Radio or Zenith Radio, depending on what you see. 11% of the people are trolls, which I love, saying Survivor FM. But the correct answer, Radio Zenith, was a major radio station in South Zagoria pre-outbreak. It can be found in Altar, west of Gorka. There's the link to the wiki. But we all know the best radio station now is 87.8 Survivor FM. But am I right? Am I right? And I put the link in there just so people can find it because it's a great little resource, particularly if you, like for you, Dudditz, if you're making a video and you need a good image of something, they've got images of pretty much everything here on their website that you can just save and use for whatever. You can click, go to clothing and talk about crafting and vests, and then you go to the vests and there's all the different vests and you just click on it and there's your image and you can save them. So a fantastic resource for any creators out there who need to find images for content that they're making. So but no, we'll get next week's question up. Lazian will send me through a link to it. But ladies and gentlemen, we are coming towards the end of the show. Individual shout-outs. Dudditz, as our guest, what's something, it doesn't have to be DayZ related, it can be, it's up to you, but what's something you would like to raise awareness of, mate? Something you might have seen, something you love, something you've got coming up soon, or anything at all, mate? Something you want to shout out?
Well, you put me on the spot. I wasn't prepared for this. But I guess since it doesn't have to be DayZ related, and I know at the very bare minimum, I know your prior service, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cobra.
Okay. All right. So me, myself as well, I do generally like to put on I forgot what we call it over here, and I don't think we call it the same thing. I think it was like 21 a day, but like military veteran suicide. So that's pretty much the only thing, the main thing I can think of, because like transitioning out was such a big shift for me. And even though I came in during like not the craziest time, I served from 2014 to 2020. I kind of try to like remind people that like you may not have served in combat, but it is a massive culture shift to go in, do 6, 8, 10, 12 years, and then get out. And a lot of people have a hard time with that shift, and some people don't make it, some people do. So it's kind of the biggest things that was the first thing that came to mind when you said like raise awareness about was one of the veteran suicide. So
it's a passion of both Cobra and mine as well. He's talked about it before, I've talked about it before, and no, good shout out, mate. I'll do mine now, and I'm going to play a short video for you guys. You've heard me. Oh, Jesus Christ. I reckon Skullspeed and mine actually have a bingo to yell out. Little server that you may have heard of. But I've mentioned it before, but they've just released a video showcasing their bunker mod that they've got on the server. And Next level
great.
stuff.
Yeah.
This is next level. Have you watched his Helkiana?
I just saw it on the Steam Workshop, I think, or something. I had a quick look, but not too much into it.
There is audio, but he's not talking. It's just music playing, so I'm just muting it for the copyright. But
So the first part of the bunker is the same as the underground bunker.
yep, you make that hatch, and that creates the first, and then you just start mining your way in whatever direction. Only horizontal plane at the moment. You can't go up or down.
That's great. I love it. Now, the interesting thing is how big this is, because I think it's quite big, isn't it? The final
As
room.
big as you want it. As big as you want it.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Is this the same one that I think Sour had a video,
No.
3 or 4 videos? No, not the same thing.
Most of the other ones that I've seen out there are all pretty much just you build it and it's a set structure. This allows you to make whatever you want. You can make a maze. And I know he's looking at dynamic events as well. So, you may come across a prepper bunker or, tunnels underneath a city sort of thing. So, it's just I've been giving him a lot of feedback on it so that he could improve some of the little issues that I was finding. You could peek through walls and stuff like that. And you could raid in either through the hatch or you could go and get a bunker kit yourself and then, tunnel your way inside someone's base. And
that's cool.
One of the other things I like about it is purely for the organic side of things, because primarily now you can see a base quite easily sitting on the surface. Now, if you see someone and maybe they're carrying a backpack, it's like, where are they going? If I shoot them now, I might get their gear. But if I wait and try to track them, I might find where their bunker is, because they're hard to see. They're very hard to see on the ground. You saw how small it was. It might add to a little bit more organic interaction. People have to hone on their tracking skills as well as just being able to shoot people. So what do you think about it from the modding perspective, Helkiana?
Well, like I said before, for the underground bases, there can be some issues with it when people log in and log out. I am very afraid of that stuff because it's either under when the bunker is constructed. Basically, what happens is it's usually made either under the map or somewhere in the sky, like really high up. And there's limitations of being within 1,000 meters of where the entrance is, because otherwise, because the bubble for the player, like if you teleport to like 1,000 meters away from where you are without the tools as well, you see stuff like slowly loading in because you need to network all that stuff in. So it's the same thing. So this has to be,
he has addressed that, because I raised that point with him. In that when I would teleport into the base, I could see all the tunnels in the distance. And I said, so I think he's just added a blackout screen. But that also, and it's something he is still addressing and working on, creates a bit of an issue for, so someone blows the hatch when they, if you hear that your hatch has just been blown and you're waiting for them, they're at a massive disadvantage when they come in. I suggested to him something along the lines of the way the orb works, Helkiana, where, from my understanding, the orb on the mulch, you could chuck a grenade in and it will go through to where it is and detonate there. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So need to look at options like that to make it work. Because I said to him, even just because it's as you saw, it takes a lot of gear to build each section. I think it's 10 logs or something like that, and farming 10 logs and having to carry them, if you don't have a server with a modded backpack, that's a lot of walking. And, you might farm 30 logs just to build, one section. But then you've got to go into the log, come back out again, get another log, go back in. I said, it'd be great if you could just open it and just drop the logs through and they go in. So I know he's working on that as well. So it is a work in progress, but he wanted to get some information out there. If people want to watch that video again, there's a link to it. And it is sadly, but at the same time, everyone knows it's my favorite service, so it doesn't bother me. It's a DDU exclusive. But yeah, I just love, again, Helkiana, that you modders push the boundaries on stuff. Everyone's always dreamed of underground bunkers. And I remember the first time I saw one on the podcast here, I was like, that's awesome. And now we're at this stage where you can mine and craft your own design. That's just, I love it. I love that creativity.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of these things they've been thought of like for a long time, but modders been avoiding doing them because of the amount of work and gimmicks that you gotta do with DayZ to just get it working in all scenarios. It is a lot of work. So, respect for the people that do go this way, because I know I wouldn't. It's too much DayZ bullshit that you need to deal with to get something like this done.
What do you think of it, Dudditz?
I have no idea about anything regarding modding. However, I literally, because I came from console to PC, anything mods do, I'm all for, and I appreciate all the work they put in for it. So, especially because a lot of them just do it they take a lot of time to do. Just like editing, it takes a lot of time to do. So, I'm always for any type of new mod. I was so addicted to the Green Hell is Tech modded Project Blackpool server, and I'm really excited for the new one coming out, Deadfall. So I have like a little, even if I don't like it, I'll give it an honest try. So I appreciate all the time that they put in for it.
Oh, same. So much respect for modders. Cobra, what's something you'd like to shout out this week, mate, if you got anything?
Well, given the latest that's gone on around the world, Amy Scott, which I'm sure some of you will now know the name, Police Inspector Amy Scott, who was the female police officer that shot the knife attacker.
What a fucking legend.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to service to a country, we talk a little bit about this in my spotlight sometimes. I think whether it's terrorism around the world, whether you've been in the army, whether you're in the police, fire brigade, whatever it may be, this is a single female cop who went and took care of a guy who'd stabbed a baby and, went on a knifing spree over where Boydie comes from. And I think, one, it takes a lot of courage, but two, this type of thing still does happen around the world. Happens in America a lot. Happens in the UK where I am every now and then, and fair play to her. I think, given the news that's gone on around the world recently, I think that deserves a massive shout out. Well done, and Christ, she doesn't even think she's a hero, but clearly she's done really well. So
I just want to show her face because it's important we shout her out because, yes, she was armed and she had a couple of guys with her, but she was the first officer on scene. A mate of mine told me she was still in her, as he called them, her court pants. So it's something I've always said, that I've always had the respect for police, that they can go from being office desk jockeys 1 second to a life or death situation moments later. And she did her job, and she's being rightly applauded here in Australia because, it was absolutely terrible what happened. The guy seems to have targeted mostly women. So there's obviously some issues there. The other guy, one that on that point I do want to shout out is the one male who died. Tragically, he was a security guard, and it was his first day on the job. It gets even worse, people. He's from Pakistan. He fled to Sri Lanka, applied through UNHRC, got refugee status, and came to Australia got himself a job, obviously trying to restart his life. First day on the job at Australia's biggest shopping centre, and he dies trying to do his job, which is just absolutely tragic. I'm just so saddened by that.
I kind of wanted to. Oh, go ahead, Cobra.
No, you carry on, mate. Carry on.
I kind of wanted to throw in there because me and my wife were cops in California for a while, so I will say for that female cop to do that's extremely impressive, specifically because people don't understand this. People like look at cops through one lens a lot of times.
Yeah.
And being a female cop comes with a completely different set of issues. And the stuff that has been said to my wife over the years, like I do not forget the stuff she told me. So that's kudos to her for doing that. It's always impresses me regardless, because it's a thankless profession, and you tend to get a lot more shit as a female cop than most people realize. So
yeah, for sure.
And notwithstanding here, he stabbed a baby, and he was on his way to a kids' play area as well. So
we've got to shout out the two Bollard legends as well. There's footage of a couple of guys who were both foreigners as well. One guy's a permanent resident. The other guy, I think he's just on a working visa. But they held him up at one stage using bollards because, just based. Absolutely based. I have so much respect for him. And you can see there are innocent people in the background trying to get into shops and that. So undoubtedly they saved lives as well. Such a tragic situation, but one of Australia's richest men, his daughter died. There was the mother of the baby, a woman who was just about to get married or just newly married, an older woman, the security guard. That's all we know at this stage, but just tragic. It's mental health is such a. If you, there's nothing wrong with reaching out to someone and getting a bit of help. If you think you need it, folks, and if you know someone who might need it, better to speak up than not say something. Apparently, this guy had a lot of issues. He was known to police in Queensland, where he was from. He'd only been in Sydney for a month and a half, and he was already known to the police down there. Just makes you wonder why someone hadn't, locked him up for a proper assessment or whatever. I know it's not that easy these days, but truly tragic. Is there anyone, Helkiana, had you done your spotlight, your shout out?
I don't have anything today.
Oh God, please have something positive. We need something positive. Okay, I'm going to do one more then. I want to finish on a good note. I'm just finding it. Where is it? I think I'm in the wrong channel.
Always talk football, mate.
Fuck. Soccer.
Well, Liverpool lost today, so I'm not very happy. It's just sport related, Boydie. No, it's not.
I might mute that. That probably sounds copyrighted.
So it's 1960s.
This island has a lot of history. Pitcairn Island. And a guy by the name of NZ Jocko is making a map. And again, a shout out to our community. Some of the feedback people gave him in there about his trailer. Just so good to see such positive, everyone trying to help each other. Hands down, we've got the best generalised DayZ community out there. They were giving him tips on how to do a better trailer with the cameras and all the rest of it. But Pitcairn Island, for those who don't know, there was a famous mutiny back in the 1800s, I think it was, and a bunch of people stole a ship and picked up some, it's a tragic story, but picked up some islander women along the way, and they set up a colony on this island. And, they were found many years later, and only one of them was still alive. And, there's always been a small colony of people on that island ever since, and quite interesting to see a fairly unique-looking map, isn't it, Helkiana?
I haven't seen much of it, but it does look interesting.
Very mountainous. Mutiny on the Bounty. There you go. Go full screen. Thank you. How have I made it to 185 episodes, Cobra?
Done well, mate.
But yeah, link is in our Discord in the DayZ General chat if you want to see more of it. But again, I just love seeing people do something interesting. So yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. As always, it's been a great show. Sorry for the late start, but I had to take the missus to the airport. She had to fly up to Cairns for a couple of days for a centre. A couple of last minute announcements. I am the spotlight with everyone knows Dave. We've cancelled for the time being. I don't want to bring any more attention to the Bitterroot servers than they're already getting. So we figured we'll wait, let things settle, and then maybe revisit that one down the line. But I have lined up a special spotlight for those of you who know me and my history with the game. An old running mate of mine who basically was my inspiration. So you know, if you want to know who to blame for me becoming a content creator, it's Charlie DayZ. He was in chat before, Ben Castles, who was chatting away. He and I are going to be doing a spotlight interview talking about the old days and what he's been up to ever since. And I've also reached out to Dr. Serpiente, the guy behind the Lights Out games, because I think he would be a fascinating interview to do as well. He's got a cheeky sense of humor as well. I've already found that out in DM. So I just watched Adam Crook's video where him, Summit, and Fenlo, I think it was, won, and an amazing video. That was actually going to be another shout out I wanted to do. So yeah, there you go. Go check out his channel. He's the guy who did the video where he visited the Needle Cobra. If you saw that one, in IRL. So definitely worth checking out. But yeah, next week's guest for this show, though, is going to be Lapadouche, who is a Czech modder from the Czech DayZ community. So that's going to be quite an interesting guest to have on, one that's more up your alley, Helkiana.
Yep. I should be here, hopefully.
Awesome.
If I don't get stranded in the south.
Dudditz, thank you so much, mate. I hope you gained some from this. I hope you've gained some new fans as well who are going to go check out your long form content, buddy. When are you going to be next streaming if people want to pop in and say g'day?
Oh, well, first off, thank you for having me because I was not expecting. I reached out for you just for like, hey, can you help me out with something small? And then you put me on this platform, which is much bigger than mine. So I appreciate that. And yeah, I'll probably stream sometime. I usually put it on my Discord and Twitter and Twitch like sometime this week, but normally it's always Friday evenings and Saturday mornings or evenings. I usually get that info out, but that's my schedule, and I'll be on Twitch and on YouTube as well.
Awesome, buddy. And I just shared once again in the chats the link to the event for next weekend on Saturday night. Hope to see some of you in there hunting my big fat ass around the map. All the best, everyone, and we will see you next week, same time, same channel, as always, for the DayZ Podcast.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Take care. Feel good?
Just waiting to finish uploading. Does this weird thing at the end where we're still says we're live. It did this last week to us, didn't it, Helkiana?
Yeah, you're still live.
Just
now.
waiting for the upload progress to finish. So don't talk too much shit about me.
So I'll just sit around till like it hits 100%.
Yeah, and then you could run if you need to, mate. But
Okay.
no, I'm really glad you came on, mate. And I hope that we can help you in any way, shape, or form. I hope you got some good tips. Yeah, as soon as I saw your channel, I went, I've got to get this guy on because Cobra will have a lot of good tips for you, mate, because you seem to be doing similar sort of things. And I just stressed to him, Cobra, that getting that good network of people is a big deal for you.
Mate. Yeah, you need to have good people around you. So for me, I look at people